Yes, you, come over here. Me? I was standing behind 80 to 100 refugees, mostly elderly, holding hands with their grandkids. And I was right behind 100 people. Why me? I put my head down. Yes, you, come here. I put my head down in disbelief that can't be happening. The man who was calling my name, not exactly my name, the man who was calling me to come over, had a strange uniform, semi-automatic rifle in his hand, his chest decorated with weapons and hand grenades. He's standing behind a newly formed barricade, and he's letting people leave Sarajevo to safety. Why me? On the third time, you, come over here. I had to obey. I had my two sons, Ivan, 4 years old, and Boris, 5. I held their hands and slowly walked by 80 to 100 people and stood right in front of the man. Is this good or bad? How can it be good? It's war. It is. Sarajevo, Bosnia, 1992. First day of a 5-day ceasefire. And my goal is to get out of Sarajevo to safety. Safety was my parents' home, where I grew up. My home, Novi Sad, N-O-V-I, second word, S-A-D, second biggest city in Serbia. It's another country, and we are on foot. The first obstacle is that man, and then going by foot over the really high mountain, which is impossible. I looked at him in the eye, and he's looked familiar to me. Before I figured out what's going on, he says, I know you. You play basketball here in town. I remember, this is our biggest fan. Almost every Monday, Tuesday after the game, we would meet somehow in town, in a public transportation, returning home from work. Yes, I had a work, full-time job. And he would wave from the back of the bus. Hey, congratulations, I saw you again, good game. And I would always take my time and thank him for being a fabulous fan of my team. Still, is it going to be good or bad? Now, maybe he feels powerful, maybe who knows what's going to happen? Where are you going? He asked me. To Novi Sad. He looked around and spotted a man with a car and said, hey, come here, drive this woman with 2 kids to Pale. Pale is a little village on top of the mountain. If I get there, in my mind, I would be safe. We sat in the car. By the way, that car was the worst looking car that I've ever seen in my life. Beat up completely, but beggars couldn't be choosers, right? That man looked so tense, his eyes small, and he looked and felt angry to me. I can feel his energy. But hey, he's going to take us up the mountain to the top of the hill, where the goal is to hopefully take the bus transportation to Belgrade, capital of Serbia, and then short distance to Novi Sad, where's my home. We sat in the car and I made a huge mistake. I gave him a big amount of money, probably bigger than he can make in a year. And I thought we were safe. This is it. He drove us around the corner, maybe the distance to the parking lot here in front of the community center, around the corner from that building where the man who asked him to help couldn't see him. He stopped the car, opened the door, and yelled so many cuss words. Get out of here. My kids started to cry, and we stepped outside. And I thanked him. I said, thank you so much. Why are you crying? We kneeled down. Why are you crying? This man is a good man. He helped us a lot. We didn't know where we were going to go. I didn't know where to go. We're on foot. We're going to a different country. We're kneeling down. There is a little grass underneath us, and my son, younger son, Ivan, picked up the dandelion. And we stood up, and he blew the dandelion in the air against the blue sky. For that particular moment, there was no fear. There was nothing. Just that present moment, a moment of grace, a moment of beauty, and life we were hoping to find. And all the seeds fell down like little parachutes. We squat down again. I hugged them both, and I felt so tired. You know that tiredness when you are tired from fear. We just left home. We're just around the corner from our front door, and we have 4.5 hour driving distance to Novi Sad, and we're on foot. After that feeling of tiredness, the surge of urgency flooded my body. And I just said, let's go, guys. We have to keep moving to gain the momentum. It's only 5 days of ceasefire, and we have no clue how are we going to make it. It's my first experience with war, hopefully the last. First experience with ceasefires. And I thought it's like a 5-day all-inclusive package with little umbrellas in your drink. No, it's not. Anyone fires any kind of fire alarm, from the smallest to the biggest and everything in between, ceasefires is over. So we don't have 5 days. We have this particular second, and the next, and the next. Pretty close to the dandelion story and an event and experience. 6 fully armed men approached and said that they're going to take us in the back of the truck, military truck, to take us to Pale. Oh, I'm done. I'm safe. I put my kids into the back of the truck. I climbed up. If you ever been in a military truck or you have seen in the movies, on the right side there is a bench. On the left side there is a bench. They fold up or down. My sons and I went all the way to the right. At the end, next to me, 3 men. On the left side, another 3 men. And we left. I thought, this is it. And if I was right, I wouldn't be standing here telling the story. Through the city, it was quiet. Suddenly we are going up the hill. There's a regular road, but I noticed that the truck is rambling and humbling over the roots and rocks, and we're carving the road around trees where nobody ever drove anything in the wilderness. It's loud, and I said, why are we doing this? There's a regular road. Yeah, I don't have experience with wars. And the man next to me said, you know, the enemy from the other side of the mountain can see us and can launch the bomb and we'll be dead. My only thought was, I hope my kids didn't hear this. And my second thought was, I hope it's quick, so we don't know we don't know anything, we don't feel anything. I still felt safe until terror filled up the back of the truck. In an instant, when a big man next to me started coming really close to me and leaning his leg against mine, and not accidentally, It was a little bit more and a little bit more. I couldn't find answers here. I couldn't find anything in my head. The invisible curtain dropped around me and my sons. My feelings. My children cannot experience or see anything unpleasant. They can't see evil. I wouldn't allow it. He intensified his movement. I never moved my leg. My instinct told me not to disturb anything. If I did, I thought it would escalate the situation. Within seconds, I just heard my voice. I don't remember being aware of what I'm going to do or say. I just started hearing my voice. Thank you so much for taking us to safety. 10 minutes later, I am so grateful for you. 15 minutes later, I will never forget you. 10 minutes later, you're saving my family. 15 minutes later, you are my heroes. The man across from me on the other bench, they didn't look at me in the eye ever again. But every expression of gratitude, I felt their shoulders were a little bit more relaxed. This man next to me intensified his movements. I intensified my gratitude. That particular ride from Sarajevo to Pala is 15 minutes on that regular road. It took us 13 and a half hours in that back of the truck. Over and over again, expressing my gratitude. Nobody said anything else. It was just my words. We stopped at the top of the mountain. They dropped me off in front of the closed police station. I have never been in that village. It was already 8:30, sun is setting behind the mountains. I faced all of them. They all stepped out of the truck, and I faced all of them and offered my last gratitude. Thank you so much for saving me and my sons. The big guy was first in the line. He slightly bowed in my mind, in my feelings, as a representation of what didn't happen in that back of the truck. The rest of the story is as dangerous and dramatic, but I will stop here and I will offer 3 things that I would like you to take with you from this story. First is trust that first whisper. If something feels off in your family, in your body, or your soul, listen. That little tiny voice, that little signal usually comes before the storm. That voice might not be loud, but it's always true. It saved my life. It saved my life of my children. And it might protect yours. Trust that first whisper. Number 2, your voice is power. You don't have to shout to be powerful. You don't have to carry a weapon to feel strong. The most disarming thing or force in the entire world can be a loving voice, spoken with clarity and intention. Your loving voice can stop the harm, open hearts, and create safety in the most unsafe places. Your voice is power. Number 3. One step at a time saves lives. When we panic, we run. When we are fearful, we freeze. But what saved us is the deliberate movement. Those steps might be small, but those small steps will carry you to your freedom. It's always like this in war. It's like this in life. One step at a time saves lives. I have a bonus one for you. Bonus one. Home is to return to yourself. Homes are not always a physical place. Yes, they are. But not always. That signal, that unbreakable signal inside you, and that place that you always know what to do. If you stop searching for answers from the outside and turn inward, I am convinced you will find your compass, you will find your truth, you will find your strength. You are home. Yes, you are home. There, nobody. In front of me, like 4 football fields, big grass, green area. Around small hills, the houses around scattered, lights behind every window. I don't know anyone there, and I don't know where to go. Where am I going to sleep? With 2 boys. At the end of that field, there was a male figure walking away. Brisk walk. And I remember that second. My husband at the time had a cousin that lives in that village, Pale, and his name is Misha. And I started yelling his name. It's pretty much as crazy as like 1 mile from here, though. Okay, this was not mile, yelling somebody's name on that playground. There's no way my sound can reach that man. I started yelling first, and then screaming and crying, but they never stopped. I said, this must be Misha, and if I stop, I don't have any other idea. If I continue screaming his name, I don't know. That was my only option. My kids started crying. I was bringing them closer and closer to me to comfort them a little bit. That figure in the farther place of that green field stopped. He turned around, started coming towards me. Now I'm scared. It's war. My best friend's father survived the Second World War. He used to tell us when we were kids, war is the time when the head of cabbage is more worth than human head. Does that translate? Your head is worth nothing. So anything can happen. It's war. Everything I've ever known changed in 1 second, and now there are new rules. He's coming close to me, and I'm just standing there helplessly and hopelessly. When he came close to me, close enough to say something, and I can hear his voice, he says, Nada, is this you? I told that story to my friend from London. She's a published author. She says, please don't tell this part of the story. People will think you lie. I'm all in goosebumps, that's true. I said, Misha, is this you? Yes. How did you know? I said, I know my cousin has a really tall wife. and 2 boys. And I was thinking about you because it's a ceasefire. I don't know where you're going to go. The other option was across the river on the other side, and then somebody will shot us by a sniper for sure in the open space. And he took us home. His wife cooked dinner. I couldn't eat anything. Next morning we took the bus to Belgrade. During that ride, 5 weird groups stopped us and ID'd us and let us go. When we arrived to Belgrade, my father was waiting, and when I see him through the window, he dropped on his knees crying. His entire family died in Auschwitz during the Second World War, so now his child and 2 grandkids are in this situation. I walked out and said, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying when you knew we bought tickets and we are on our way?" And he said, "Well, you were supposed to be in 4.5 hours. It's a 14 hours ride. 14 hours. They were stopping us, and it was something else." And he says, "I kept going to the information desk 10 times, asking, when is that bus coming? When is the bus coming?" The information lady said, "I don't know." "Well, lady, it says here information. Who knows if you don't know?" He said, "Well, I didn't want to tell you, but yesterday's bus was stopped by criminals in the middle of Bosnian mountains. Everybody was killed in the bus because everybody leaving their house. I hope you're not going to have to do this ever, but if you're leaving with nothing, you maybe take a family jewelry, maybe grandma's necklace or something, to be able to start your new life somewhere else. And they killed everybody in the bus for the little something that they were taking with them. And my dad was waiting there to see if this is the destiny his daughter and his grandkids are going to have." So that's how it went. Somebody was looking after me, over me. That, meeting Misha at that particular moment, I mean, how is that possible? Anybody else? Yes.
In those quiet moments between the 15 minutes when you were expressing gratitude, where was your mind and awareness at that time? Were you continuing to focus on gratitude?
Inward.
Just quiet inside?
Quiet. Holding my sons. Ivan was on my lap and Boris was next to me. And I was just holding them the entire time. Holding them with my arms.
Like love.
Yeah. To feel protected, and they knew. They didn't know about the leg, but they knew the entire time. Kids know everything. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. My honor is to be here and share my story. Thank you.